Well, hey, everybody, it's Bob Schwartz at Home Business Advertiser, and I'm really excited to have Dr. Anthony Kleinsmith from a company called Anovite on the call with me today. Let me just flip over. I want to show you Dr. K, I'm going to call him if that's okay with you, um, is on the cover of the September issue. And am I going to be able to find it here? Share that screen. Yeah, if you can see that, Dr. K is on the cover of the October 2023 issue of Home Business Advertiser. So this is up online now. So if you do want to go ahead and check out Dr. K's company and his offer, I would definitely suggest that you do go to Home Business Advertiser and read the article, go to the website, look at what these guys are doing. But while we're at that, I did want to take some time just to introduce, everyone who follows HBA Magazine to Dr. K. So welcome to the call, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah. Now you founded a company called Anovite. From what I understand, you're based in Utah, and it's best known for certified colostrum-based products. Do I have that right?
You do. You do. Actually, I started a company 31 years ago called Immune Tree. I started actually in the health food store marketplace. Got connected to Cornell University because of the testing that we were doing, and another gentleman by the name of David Steinman, who owns a Healthy Living magazine. And he got a hold of us. We were in 3,000 health food stores at one point. And Cornell did something that was kind of unique. They put out a letter after their testing stating we were the #1 in the world on their letterhead. And
Wow.
they asked me if I wanted to get involved in research. We did. But I didn't want to put any money in it, right? I was young. I didn't know what I
Right.
was doing back then. And so I ended up giving them tons of colostrum. They spread it around the world. And my goal was to see if this substance really had, everything that we were talking about. And it did. We have over 140 international editorials written about us on many different things. On one side of this industry, the health food store side, we can literally say almost anything we want. So when David wrote the articles, many different diseases were there. On this side of the industry, you really can't say anything. And we're unique in the fact that my first company, Immune Tree, is a FDA registered production facility, right?
I saw that. Yes.
Yeah, but we don't do any contract manufacturing for anybody. So it gives me the opportunity to be very, very picky about the ingredients that I can put into my products, right? We don't ever fairy dust anything. And with my double PhD, it helps me put formulas on the market that make a very big impact on people.
I know one of them, we've talked about this, and I've read a little bit about it too, is the 6-hour bovine colostrum.
Mhm.
And could you talk a little bit about that and Innovite's mission?
Absolutely. With the 6 hour, it came about way back when with Dr. Donald Lyon and Dr. Al Fox. Al was from Rutgers University, multiple PhD in immunology. And Dr. Donald Lyon was the head of the endocrinology lab, head of the veterinary diagnostics lab, head of the Veterinary College of Medicine at Cornell. And when we all got together, they asked me what I wanted to do. And I wanted to find the best one at that time. Now, this is back in the early 90s, late 80s.
Hmm.
And they said, what are you going to do? What's your PhD? And I said, well, I didn't have one. I have a finance degree from the University of Utah at that time. They said, well, you don't have a DVM? I said, no. They said, well, and how are you going to make it better? I said, well, I grew up on a small dairy farm in Wellsville, Utah when I was a kid, and I bought and sold Dale bull calves from the dairy farmers. And we came up with this
I
nutritional,
like that. That's great.
yeah. Oh, my background is interesting where it comes to that because I started my first business when I was 8 and was very successful with it.
And what
They
was that?
buying and selling Dale bull calves, right?
At the dairy farm. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I milked 7 cows morning and night by hand, but
Wow.
I was a little high strung, right? And you kind of said, well, you're a little out there sometimes. I am, right? My dad thought it would be kind of cool to give me responsibility. So I bought my very first bull calf. And if you're a dairy farmer, especially back then, remember, I'm kind of older, right? Uh, Bought my first bull calf, bought him for $5, sold him for $1,800 a year and a half later. Fairly smart individual and figured out, you know what, I can do this on ongoing basis. I had my own personal bank account at age 12. So did pretty well.
That's
Right.
great too.
Been very blessed that way. But when they came to me, they said, how are you going to make it better? I said, let's put together a nutritional program. Let's put together a birthing program. And we literally helped to change the dairy industry out there years and years and years ago. Well, everything was going along great until Cornell put out their first letter about me saying we're the best in the world at what we do. I got a little cocky, right? And I said to all the health food stores and people around the world, if you can beat me, now I just had Cornell, the #1 school for veterinary medicine in the world, say that I was the best in the world, right? So if you beat me, I'll pay you $10,000. But in order for you to try to beat me, I would pay for all of your testing. So have these tests done, which will show if you have a higher grade than I do. And if you do, you win. Nobody beat me. Immune Tree exploded, went just crazy.
Did anyone take you up on the offer?
Oh no, everybody took me up on the offer.
Oh, for real?
Within 3 months, I had $250,000 worth of testing that I had to pay for, which scared me to death, right?
Holy Christmas, yeah, right.
But it also put Immune Tree on the map as a multi-million-dollar company, right? What was fascinating about that is this is when they started asking me, hey, do you want to get involved in research? I said, sure, but I don't want to spend any money on it, right? I was young. And they said, there's a way to do it, but you're not going to get any notoriety. I said, I don't care. What I'm looking for is, does it work on these different situations that our bodies always go through, right? Just aging, immune, and enhancement or regulation, whichever the case may be. Well, we got so much research. And then I was at the Soho show in Florida, and I had a really big chain of stores that said, hey, we tested you 10 times. Now, at that time, a test was around between $1,250 and $1,500, right? They test 10 different lots, 10 different companies against mine. And I said, did we win? He says, hands down. I knew the buyer, Bill, and he said, but we're never going to buy from you. I said, Bill, why? Are we not best on the market? He said, oh, absolutely. He said, but Tony, what business are you in? I said, I'm in the nutritional health food store business. He said, what business are we in? So I thought you were in the same one. He said, no, we're in the business of making money.
Yeah, I kind of had a
He
feeling.
says, and that company and those other companies, if we get a bottle returned, they'll give us 3 for free. I said, yeah, I can't do that, right? He says, I know that, and that's why we're not going to carry you. So I went out looking for a different venue. And I have in the past private label for 20 multi-levels, right? Traveled to 44 countries. Been
That's
very
interesting.
blessed.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Found that I really like the people. I mean, I really like the people. I've been on stages with thousands of folks in the audience, public speaking, book signing, that kind of thing, because I've done pretty well with all of my books. And then I got to meet the owners. And I found that the owners kind of looked at everybody as you're a walking checkbook. And if you're not putting money in my pocket, you don't really mean all that much, right? I quit selling to them. I went back to the health food store marketplace, said, oh, I'm done. About 7 years ago, I got this group that literally were on my front porch at my house, right? They had followed me from different companies that I had private labeled for. And then I told them, no, I'm done. Go away. Well, they ended up on my front porch and they said, listen, we want you to be the multi-level. Well, what I heard and what they were saying were kind of two different things. I didn't want to do this, right? I literally was kind of drug into this screaming and kicking. And even to the point where I told them, listen, I'm not going to support you with doing a multi-level. They said, we don't want you to sell to a multi-level. I said, then what do you want me to do? They said, we want you to be the multi-level. You produce your own products, you make your own formulas, you have all the research and everything. You be the guy. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do that, right? It took them a year to convince me. But once they did, I said, I will go out and talk to 3 people. I'll go talk to a consultant, which became Jay Leisner from Sylvania Consulting. He helped me with everything. One was Kevin Thompson, who was the attorney, flew back there.
Okay.
And one was and one was my accountant. Because I had asked Jay, I'm very good with numbers. I have this kind of quirky thing that goes on. And I built a compensation plan. I handed it to Jay and I said, here, build me a model. He said, this is the worst compensation plan on the face of the planet. I said, no, I understand that right now, but we're going to mold it. We're going to modify it. We're going to make it to where it works for everybody that you want in your business, right? So I flew back east to Kevin Thompson, and he said, you got an hour go. He said, at the end of the 4-hour session, he says, I don't worry about your compensation plan. I don't worry about your products, right? Because I brought the books and the magazines and the articles. And he says, here's what I worry about. When your associates find out about all those editorials that have been written about specific diseases, you're going to have a nightmare in your hands. He says, do you have a pit bull? I said, what do you mean? He says, compliance. I said, no. He says, let me introduce you to Donna Marie Saratella, which I hired, and she's been with us from day one, right? And he says, you need somebody like that because, yes, in my old life, are there articles from the Healthy Living on cancer, diabetes, Crohn's, heart disease, and the list goes on and on? The answer is yes, right? We don't use them anymore, but they're definitely out there with the magazine association, right? Mm-hmm. So we took our first 20 people to Hawaii as we started to grow. And I said, listen, folks, I'm a little different owner. Get to know me, right? I'll give you my cell phone. I'll give you my direct office line. But get to know me because one of these days we're gonna pull you into a lunch, and I'm gonna ask you for all of your ideas. We're gonna give you very specific topics to give the ideas on, and we did that. And we started modifying the compensation plan, right? So that it works for customers, it works for consumers, it works for people who want to build. And in the meantime, I was chasing this one gentleman, and you've spoken to him, Kelly Reese.
Yeah,
right?
I love Kelly. He's a good man.
Well, he first time I ever called him, he was very polite. Thank you, Dr. Kleinsmith. Appreciate you, but I'm not going to do anything more with nutritional network marketing. I said, why not? He's like, I can't find an owner with integrity. I hunted him literally. I call him every quarter. He'll tell you, oh, once a year. No, I had it in my cell phone. Call him every quarter, right? And he'd be very polite. Please remove me from your list and don't call me anymore. I'm doing this other thing. And finally, I was in Florida, and he says, okay, you got a half an hour go. Several hours later, he said, you've intrigued me enough to take a look. He says, but here's the deal. You're built around products. You're a product company. You're not a network marketing company. After all that we had done, right? I said, well, I'll pay you to evaluate us. He did. And he came back and said, listen, there are 4 issues within the industry that very few, if any, companies really deal with. One
What was
is
the word? I'm sorry, I missed it. It was for what?
four issues, if you will.
Okay. Yep.
Tragedies, right?
Right.
I personally believe today, best decision I've ever made. Took me a while to make it, right? But best decision I ever made was to get into network marketing. But I did not want to do it like a lot of other companies out there. I'm okay with patience. I have no problems with that. I've been extremely blessed financially with our business with ImmuneTree, right? So he said, there's no professional training, there's no professional marketing system that doesn't cost you an arm and a leg, and it really doesn't even work because you have nobody teaching it. You have no professional coaching, right? Let me show you how to do things so that you feel comfortable doing them.
So Kelly's kind of like the marketing guy. I mean, he's the one that came to you and said, hey, Dr. K, these are some ideas of mine that I want to share with you. And
he evaluated us totally and said, listen, I've got some good news and bad news. Your products are off the hook, and they are, right? I love it when people say, oh, well, we get this. If you walk into a health food store, there are 5,000 bottles sitting on the shelf. Literally 99.9% of those bottles are private labeled, white labeled. They don't make anything, they market things, right?
Right.
Well, there's a big difference between research and a white label that just throws stuff together and puts it on a shelf
to sell it. Right.
We never do that. Right? I don't have to. Right. So when he said that, I said, well, what's the bad news? He says, your sales are going to go down. He says, you're built on consumers and you've done a great job of it. But all you've done is taken one company, ImmuneTree, and made it into Anovite with a different name. He says, now, if we do and make the manipulations that we need to do for a true network marketer to come in here, your sales are going to go down. And then what you're going to find are people that go, holy Hannah, this is for real. Right. And then your sales are going to start ticking up. And then it did exactly that. And we released, as a matter of fact, one of the big phone apps that were out there. A lot of folks use them. I fired them not this February, but last February, because we wanted our educational processes put in, right? The best month we had with them, they were doing all the shipping of our samples. And the best shipping that they did was in 10 days. Well, by that time, your excitement may have waned, right? Your life happens, right? So we fired them. We built Prospector. And instead of charging anybody, it's all for free.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about that and ask you a specific question. I love the pay it forward marketing system. I mean, just the words kind of explain where we're going with that. And that was I love marketing too. I think Kelly and I would probably get along really, really well. But the ads talk about a pay it forward marketing system where you're giving away products, not just for people to try and to sample and to test and to educate themselves, but you're also saying with this free affiliate marketing system we're going to give you, I will do that for people that you know as well, right? So could you speak to that, please?
Now, here's what's fascinating about that. Our best month with that company that's here local in Utah, they put out 325 samples in the month of November of 2021.
Okay.
Took 10 days for, yeah. When we came online with Prospector, we came online with the first round was the educational side, because to me, that's a big difference, right? I'm a firm believer in the McDonald's kind of mentality. That mentality at corporate is this: do you just go in and give them $1.5 million and they go, here's your McDonald's? No, they put you through education so that you don't fail, right? And what's fascinating about it is if you don't pass, they hand you back your money and say, go get a KFC or something else, right? But they don't just hand it to you. They want to make sure that you're a success. And that's one of the issues, one of the columns of unsuccess I think I find in this industry is that the companies give you stuff, right? But no one takes you by the hand and shows you how to be successful.
I think this ad is kind of what you're talking about. It says, we don't throw you to the wolves. Can you see that on your screen? I hope you can.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
This is one of the ads in the magazine on page 11. And it says, I love this ad. My wife was like, please get that wolf on the cover, And I was like, maybe next. But we don't throw you to the wolves. We make sure that you can lead the pack. And I get that that's what you're talking about here. Let me coach you and train you. And we've got 5 full-time employees that are willing to help you, right? I mean, we're going there.
No, these aren't employees. These are successful network marketers that will help anybody anywhere in our system. Okay.
Right.
What's fascinating about that is that every single sample that goes out, you don't pay for. They're all free. Prospector itself, 100% free. And let me give you an example of what I mean by that. When we turned Prospector on for the sample side, not the educational side, we turned that on in July of 2022. Since then, we have shipped out 12,705 samples with a 40% closing ratio.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yes, sir. Well, here's the deal though. You've seen the picture of our samples. So let me do something for you. I'm going to step away for 1 second. I should have had this set up, but didn't think about it. No, this is our #1 sample. It's a nice soft touch box. All comes together. Guess what, folks? When we say sample, we educate you on what's in it, but we give you 14 days worth of our #1 selling product, Limousin, a half a month's worth of our colostrum capsules. To me, that's a sample. Why? Because you're going to feel it in 14 days.
Right.
Now, how simple is it if you ever go to a car dealership, do you ever feel good? It's almost kind of a slimy sell, right?
Right.
You know that they're trying to weasel. I'm not saying that all do that, but you don't like being sold, right? But it's real simple to say, here's something free, but will you take it? Will you try it? Right?
Mhm.
Everybody recommends the best picture that they've just seen at the movie theaters.
Mhm.
That's easy. But when you try to sell something, people go, yeah, no, gosh, gotta taxes I gotta do, or something.
Mhm. Right, right,
Um,
right.
so we've made it simple. We've made it to where we ship it, we put it together, doesn't cost you anything, and you get an unlimited supply, right? Here's another one. Our Seismic 6, our healthy energy drink. You get 4 sachets in it. It's free. Send it out.
Right.
But and the system follows up for you. So we've taken the different issues that we've seen out there, right?
Right.
No professional training, no professional marketing system, no professional coaching. And one of the biggest entries is, let me sell you all these different things before you even get started, right? We've done
Right.
all
You
of
got to
that.
buy a $500 getting started
Right.
pack. You got to sign up for a $150 month auto ship. You're going to have to do these things. I mean, from what I hear you saying, that's not here. That's not with
Free to
Anovite.
join, no monthly fees, no product purchase required, 15 different ways of compensation. Do we have a pack? Oh gosh, yes, we have packs. If you sell 2 in a calendar month, you get a $75 kind of a fast start bonus for that. And it can be
Hmm.
sold to an associate or it can be sold to a customer. They get
Hmm.
great value for that.
Hmm.
But if you do that twice in a month, that's $150, right? 75 from each. I double it. Here's an extra 150, so $300. You're out. If you sold 2 of those in a month to people that go, hey, I want to try all these different products, right? And they're full month's worth of products, then you're not. You just made money because
Right.
it's $300 for that pack. Do you need one? No, you don't, right?
No, but what it sounds like, and I could be wrong, but as far as the pay it forward system, the prospector, what you and Kelly and the team have set up, is it's a sampling system. So when people hear, oh, I have to go, sell somebody some products, it's like, no, no, just give them the
No,
products, right? Give
give
it
them the
away.
product. Yep.
Right. And I think that's the big thing here. I mean, that's absolutely amazing.
Well, and we have different folks that the 5 different coaches, they each bring their own talents, right? Some
Mhm.
folks are very outgoing and just phenomenal to talk with. And they pretty much all have that. Some folks are very technical, right? Hey, I want to know how to do certain things with prospectors, right? Some folks are closers. Some folks are educators. We one of our coaches literally came from the immune tree side, and she told me flat out, I'm never going to do any business and never talk to me about that other company. I said, okay, I will never do that. You're going to have to ask me. 3 months later, she came back and said, what do we got to do to get involved in this? I said, buy a product. She
Mhm.
said, that's it. Buy a product. Today, she's not only one of our coaches, but she's making a 6-figure income, right?
Wow. That's
And we
great. I
don't, we
love
don't,
to hear stories like that.
it's fascinating for me because when you give the right tools, and I say give in exactly that, we give them to you and say, listen, connect with our coaches. You're going to find one of those 5, right, that fit with what you're looking to accomplish.
Hmm.
And that's the beauty of it is this. So many people just pound and pound and pound,
Hmm.
where we're looking at it saying, listen, our products for a lot of years have made
Hmm.
an impact on millions of people around the world, right? I've
Hmm.
sold it to 44 countries.
Hmm.
Um, but let's take it one step further. If you choose to do this, you are truly not alone, right?
Hmm.
And that's a big thing because somebody brings you in, but they have no background. Are you
Hmm.
going to be successful? Well, statistically speaking, you're going to fail.
Hmm.
You're going to put your money in, and you might as well flush it down the toilet, right? Well, we look at that and say we don't want that to happen, and we're going to reward you for learning, for educating. As an example, compliance is one of the biggest things out there that most companies get shut down for, right?
Sure.
Because they don't
Right.
take the time to educate and train. Well, we do that. Matter of
Mhm.
fact, we have a little course that you take online with your cell phone, right, and Prospector. And
Yep.
once that's done, it automatically says you take your test, you pass. We give you more credits. What are credits? These are credits,
Right
right?
on. Right. So
And they're
samples.
universal.
Right.
So I got
Well,
somebody that says they want a skincare. They don't care about nutrition. Great. We send out the skincare for you. Hey, I want somebody. I got the younger crowd that says, I need focus. Seismic 6 has an ingredient in it that shows a 35% increase in cognition with gamers. You and I are not gamers, right? Not in that age bracket, but
no,
with
no.
gamers, right?
Yeah.
Who
Well,
wouldn't want more focus, energy, and no crash, right?
right, right, right. Hey,
And
here's
these are the
something.
colostrum. Colostrum is our basis, right?
Right.
It literally is a thing that we over the course of years we've probably generated between 150 and 180 million dollars in my career,
Wow, that's
right?
incredible. So just so everybody hears that, we're talking about $180 million.
Yeah. And when we shifted away from health food stores, because you had this great behemoth called Amazon, right? And when they started selling nutritional supplements, and then they even sell them on Sundays, they'll deliver them to your house. They're so big, they even made the U.S. Postal Service cough up and say, "We're delivering now." Right?
Yeah, so yes, that's
Most of
amazing.
the most of the mom and pop stores that I was in kind of closed their doors and said, "We can't compete." So when Anovite came online, we wanted to do things from kind of both worlds. Do we have a compensation plan that you can make money with? Oh, absolutely. Right. I love it when these companies say, "Oh, come here and you can make all this money," but they won't post their income statement. Well, our income statement, if you take a look at it, people make money here.
Right. Dr. K, I just got a notice. We've got about 10 minutes here. And I have a feeling we're going to need a part two of this interview. So we'll have to set that up when you get back to the United States, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
But you write down things you hear that are interesting. I mean, this here from July of 2022, and you start, that was a year ago.
Yeah.
So only 1 year, you've sent out 12,000 sample packs and are looking at a 40% closing ratio. And what I hear you saying is, hey, sign up for an affiliate. It's free. Learn how to do this. Start sending out samples. People that are listening to this right now, the home business advertiser readers and the email subscribers are like, I assume many, many of them are going to say, where do I get my free sample? So I'm
Right.
just going to direct them back to the magazine, right?
Back to the magazine, and that's the nice thing, right? It doesn't cost you anything to join. And when you join, you immediately start with several hundreds of dollars worth of what?
Samples.
Marketing
Yeah.
materials that you don't, all you have to do. See, I always find this interesting. People will talk to friends,
Mhm.
right? And I've always taught my kids, but talk to strangers too, because you never know what you can do for them and what they will do for you. So many people will give you just almost an emotional hug because you said something to them, right?
Yeah. Just give them
You
a little
said
bit of
something
love.
nice.
Yeah.
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 Well, this program gives you a lot of love, right?
Right.
And you're not out any money. Now,
Right.
the nice thing about it is, well, wait a minute, I got to do some follow up, right? Yeah, but you have coaching that will kind of hold you and walk you through
Right.
that as well.
I like that. I love the emotional connection. I think that's going to speak to all those empathetic people that are listening. But
Well, I've had a lot
hey,
of I've had big players who have said, "You're not believable." So, well, what do you mean? Nobody does what you do. I said,
yeah,
I don't care what other people do. I knew I did not want to do what most companies do, which is they hook you, they drag you in. And I
yeah,
love the old pitch. Well, just give it 3 months, give it the good old college try. In 3 months' time, what's that mean? You're not going to be taught how to talk to folks. You're not going to have, if you want to do anything, they
right,
usually charge you an arm and a leg for anything,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
But they don't hold your hand,
right.
right? They get you
Hey,
excited, bring you in. Well, we don't
I
do that.
I love it. So, well, thank you for being involved in the September October magazine. That's going to mail out next Friday. So I would
Nice.
suspect that the third, fourth week of September into October, a lot of people are going to be finding out about this. But for the people watching this video, they're finding out about it now. I'm going to ask you to go back to homebusinessadvertiser.com, look at Dr. K's ads in the magazine. It's got 5 really well done, great offers, but at least get yourself a sample of the product. You know, So we are, I mean, I'm sure you're cool. I mean, I'd love to we'll do another interview in a couple weeks, and we could do updates, and maybe you could tell me how things are going, the good, the bad, and everything. We
Well,
work through
I
it.
would even make a suggestion of this because I had to hunt him for 5 years. I wouldn't even mind having you interview Kelly Reese because I'm the owner, right? And I love it when people they kind of look at me weird because I say, "Don't trust me. I'm the owner." How many owners
Right.
have lied to you, right? Let's bring somebody in that isn't the owner, who looked me in the eye and said, you're a little different."
Right. This guy right here.
That's me.
You look
uh,
thinner, man. You look healthy and well.
Oh no, I definitely take care of myself, but you know what? You gotta live. You
Right.
gotta live, right?
Right.
And we do. We are we're kind of a Jimmy Buffett parahid company.
I like that. Yeah.
If you ever come here, our entire lunchroom is all piratey stuff. I have a big ship sitting in my office, and we like to have fun. One of our statements is work like a captain and play like a pirate.
Nice. I love it. I love it. All right, Dr. K, thank you so much for this interview. I will send a copy of it to you later on. And I just appreciate you being on here, and I'll direct all the readers to check it out in the magazine.
Very good. Hey, thank you very much, Bob.
All right. Thank you, Dr. K. We'll see you guys.